Well, hello folks. Where do I start with this one? Well, I suppose you'll know from the title of the video that this is all about Lyme's disease, and the reason that I'm doing this video is mainly not to raise awareness, because I think that's been pretty well done, especially in the UK. Even in the last month or two, there's been lots of programmes, and certainly I would think the majority of people that watch my channel will be more than aware of Lyme's disease and ticks and what have you, as am I. And you might be wondering why I'm sitting here having been diagnosed with Lyme's disease last week. Anyway, we'll go into that. My symptoms, to start off with, were slightly different, and that's the main reason I want to do this, just to kind of, I know that everyone, and it's well known that the symptoms are wide and varied, but the symptoms I had initially certainly weren't indicative of Lyme's disease. So I'll go through my story. Hopefully this won't take too long. Those of you that watch my channel know, or follow me on social, know that at the moment I should be in the Alps, but I had to cancel that, unfortunately. And it looks like a great trip. Jerry and the boys have have sent me through lots of photographs. I'll stick some up now so you can see them of the weather. They had great weather over there, and it's been quite good. And it looks like it was a fab trip, but I had to pull out of that. Literally, I left it as long as I could. I pulled out of it 2 days before we were due to fly, which means I didn't get my money back from EasyJet, which I know they've got a no refunds policy anyway. So it all started, the story of the Lyme's disease, it all started roughly just over 3 weeks ago. And I was in I was on a family holiday on the Isle of Skye. Now, you'll not have seen those videos yet, but I've edited them, and wow, it was a fantastic holiday. Absolutely brilliant, and I managed to get out as well and do some hill walking and scrambling, and a really good time. But what happened when I was in Skye was, I think the second night we were there, I started to get some lower back pain, which isn't really unusual. I maybe get it once a year. I maybe pull a muscle and my back's a bit sore for a wee while. But what was different this time was the pain was getting a lot worse at night. I mean, a lot worse at night. And I was also getting this, at the same time, I was getting this strange, during the day it was like, the only way I can describe it is if you have prickly heat. Or pins and needles, more like prickly heat down the front of my thighs and round my buttocks and the skin. And I didn't even link that to my back, and I should have, I know I should have. I attributed it to something. Maybe I was allergic to some of the linen in the holiday home we were staying in. Anyway, this was shortly after I'd been up one of the Coolin mountains called Sgúr Alistair. I'd gone up the Great Stone Chute and done a bit of scrambling and down screes, and it was all on very hard, compact rock. There wasn't much. Those of you who have visited the Black Coolin will know there's not much in the way of spongy ground and moss and what have you. So I kind of attributed that, and that was followed by a trip up the Blue Mountain, Blaven. So I was kind of thinking, well, I've obviously damaged my back when I've been going up these hills, because it's very, jarry and what have you, and I was getting this burning sensation, and I was up every night. I mean, from about 2 o'clock till 6 o'clock, I was waking with this pain and this burning sensation in my skin and my legs and in this area. And it wasn't great, so I was taking pills. And it wasn't until I came back, I thought, wait a minute, this could be nerve damage in my back. So I went to see the doctor, and yeah, she agreed. I'd been up these mountains, and she didn't think I'd pinched the nerves. She thought I'd just damaged them or inflamed the nerves around, well, I can't remember, it was a C1, anyway, it doesn't really matter. And I got given some amitriptyline and some strong painkillers and what have you. And you know what? That was 9 days ago. And I took the pills, but they really weren't doing much. I was still waking up in the night with this pain and what have you. But the symptoms hadn't changed. The symptoms were the same. It was the back pain and this burning sensation. And I was getting quite concerned, to be honest with you. I thought it could have been more something like a slip disc or a pinched nerve, because as I said, the drugs that I was taking weren't putting me to sleep and weren't dulling the pain during the night. Anyway, so the next sort of progression towards Lyme's disease was that after I'd been to see the doctor, so I think I had these symptoms for about 8 or 9 days, and probably 2 days after seeing the doctor, the symptoms changed. So the lower back pain wasn't quite as sore, but the pain moved up to my upper back. And I was getting this sensation, the same sensation I was getting in my legs. I was getting them down my arms, pins and needles during the day, and then waking up with burning skin. I thought, something's not right here. It just doesn't this doesn't add up, because if you had damage in your lower back, it would more likely stay there. Anyway, this desk here that I've got actually moves up and down, and because I have such a sore back, I was basically had the desk up here when I was doing all my work, and I kind of thought, well, maybe it's because I'm sort of sitting like that, I'm getting this upper back pain. I was making excuses. That continued, and the burning sensation and the prickliness kind of died away. But I was still getting pain right across my back, but I was starting to get a really stiff neck. Now, these symptoms I knew were a lot more symptomatic of Lyme disease. So I was getting really stiff neck, really stiff shoulders. I was getting headaches. I was waking up in the night with the pain, but also a fever, sweat all over me. And I was really, really fatigued. I was knackered. My arms felt like I'd done a workout every day. I was struggling to walk the dog. And this was, well, today is Saturday, so if you're watching this when it first comes out, it'll be Sunday, so I'm recording this yesterday. So on Wednesday, a few days after having all these symptoms, which I thought are symptomatic of Lyme's, I bit the bullet and I phoned the doctor and got an appointment. I think it was for Friday morning, or maybe that was on Tuesday. It was Thursday morning I had the appointment. Anyway, Wednesday morning, with this in my head, after I came to the shower, I thought I'll give myself a tick check. And bearing in mind, before I'd been to the cooling, I hadn't been out hill walking for about 3 weeks. Anyway, so once I'd come back that night, and in the morning I was in the shower and came out and did a tick check. And as soon as I turned round into the mirror, on my buttock, I couldn't see it from the front, but on my buttock there was a big bullseye rash, and that was it. I knew then that was definitely Lyme disease. So I got straight on the phone to the GPs. They were brilliant. They got me down there within the hour, and the doctor was very nice and prescribed me a course of antibiotics, doxycycline. I don't have them here. I think I've got a picture. I'll stick that up of these antibiotics. So I'm on to my third or fourth day of those. And I must admit, today I've still got quite a lot of swelling around about my lymph nodes. They're quite feels tight and quite sore, but the other symptoms are really quickly diminishing, which is great. But I've still got another 2.5 weeks to go on these antibiotics. I think that's very important. They say that even though if you take the antibiotics for a few days and the symptoms go away, you've got to make sure that you finish the course, just to make sure you eradicate all the bacteria. And if you don't do that, I think that's how the resistance builds up. Anyway. That's another matter. So yeah, so I've got Lyme disease. Now that's the story, a bit of a long-winded story. So I kind of thought, what could I do, or what have I done recently that would have picked the ticks up? And I am aware of it. I've always been aware of Lyme disease and ticks. And when I go out, if I'm going up the hills where I know you're not going to be in a path, or it's in the summer, or wild camping, I use DEET. I've got the internal gaiters on my trousers. I do tick checks when I come back, and I've not really had that many ticks when I've been out and about hiking. I have had them. I've got the tick removers in the house and all that stuff. And when I do go hill walking, and I've been walking through the ferns or long heather, I always do a tick check. As I say, I always try to cover up as much as I can when I'm out in the hill. You'll not see many videos of me with my peely-wally legs showing in my shorts, and that's the main reason. So anyway, so how have I got this disease? Well, some of you will know also that we recently got a new dog, wee Lexi, and I am now a dog walker. And I kid you not, and this is maybe where this is an important message. I have had more ticks in the last 3 months with the dog walking than I've had in my entire life hill walking or wild camping or climbing or what have you. Loads of them. And I've sometimes picked them up in parks, but mainly we go around sort of local forests, and that's an obvious place, long grass. But even these places have got paths. And there's one particular hill close to where I live, which every time I go on it, I'm picking up ticks. Anyway, we do tick checks, and I've picked off loads of ticks recently. This one I've obviously missed at some point, but it certainly wasn't when I was out in the hills. I've deciphered that, and it was when I was yeah, walking the dog. So where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I'm obviously not going to stop walking the dog, but some of the precautions I'm going to take. I do have smidge and DEET and what have you, but I'm going to top that up with, I've bought some non-chemical anti-tick lotion, which I'm going to put on every time I go out with the dog, every time I go hill walking. I've also bought some permethrin, which I'm going to spray some on my clothes with, but I have to be very careful that, I know it's in low doses, but we've got cats, and if you're not aware, the permethrin is toxic to cats, usually in higher doses, but you still have to be careful. So I've spoken to my wife about that, so I'm going to get some of that spray and be very careful when I put it on and administer it to the clothes. It's meant to be very good for repelling ticks. I'm going to do a daily tick check. I'm just going to get into the routine every time I come out the shower. Do a daily tick check. In terms of the dog itself, it's treated. It's been treated. We've picked lots of dead ticks off it. I can't remember what it's called, but it gets given some sort of tablet in its food every now and again, and it's also got Frontline and all that sort of jazz. Although I think that's more for fleas, but the dog's certainly treated. So that's it. I'm feeling a lot better now. Hopefully this is the first bout of it. I think if you recognise the symptoms like I did eventually, the prognosis after the first set of treatments is pretty good. So I'm glad that I've found it. I'm glad that I'm on these I'm not glad that I'm on these antibiotics, but I'm glad that I'm being treated, and I'm really hopeful that a couple of months or a month or two down the line, I'll be back out roaming about the hills. Hopefully before that. As I said, I'm feeling a lot better today. Still a bit sore, but I think it'll be a couple of weeks. There may be a gap after my Sky videos, or I might put on some old videos in my vlogs just so I've got something out there. But please, the message of this video is if you've got a tick, get it out as quickly as you can. Use the proper removal tools. This isn't a video to tell you how to do it. There's loads of them out there, but get the correct tools to take them out. If there's any sign of a rash or any of the symptoms, go on the web and see them. There's lots of them: headaches, fevers, achy joints, even a sore back like I had, maybe nerve damage. It's worthwhile just getting it checked out, because if you don't find it, it can be a horrible disease to have. Anyway, that's about it. Hopefully you've kind of taken something from this video, and stay safe out there, and if you get a tick, get it off quick, and any symptoms, get to the doctor. Thanks for watching.